Just got back from the Toronto International Film Festival, and I wanted to give you a sneak peek at some of the movies I saw and what reviews to expect in the next couple of weeks. Keep in mind, a lot of these movies do not have trailers or posters yet, so I'm just using one frame or one image I could find from the movie as I talk about them. Knox Goes Away stars Michael Keaton, and he directed the film as well. It's about a hitman played by Keaton who has dementia. And overall, although I did like a handful of scenes, I think the movie is less than the sum of its parts, and I found it pretty underwhelming. I'll get into that with the review. The same can be said for The Beast, which stars George McKay and Léa Seydoux, who play these star-crossed lovers who meet up in like different periods of time in the universe. And although I admire its ambition, trying to link all these spaces in time, I feel like it becomes a bit of a detriment and doesn't keep the story flowing or as cohesive as I wanted it to, and I fell in and out of interest due to that. The next movie is called Aggro Drift. It's described as gamecore more than a movie by its director, Harmony Korine. I would definitely describe this as experimental. I don't believe this movie had a formal screenplay when they started shooting it in the South Beach area. According to the director, they borrowed these infrared cameras from NASA, shot the movie entirely in infrared technology, and just pretty much improv the whole thing. I don't think it works, but I think it's definitely different, and I think there's a lot to be said about this movie, and I can't wait to discuss it more. Hitman is a blend of a few different genres, starring Glenn Powell, who you might know from Top Gun Maverick. Glenn plays this philosophy professor who freelances as a fake hitman for his local police department on the side. It is very funny. It has some really, really great comedic elements. I don't think the romance works as well as the comedy or the neo-crime kind of genre they're aiming at, but I think overall the audience loved it, and it has some really great moments. Memory is the latest from director Michel Franco, who directed Sundown last year. That was in one of my top 5 favorite movies of the year. He does not miss a step here. It has some great performances. I don't want to give too much of the plot away without spoiling it for you, but it stars Peter Sarsgaard and Jessica Chastain, and it's definitely one of my favorites from the festival. Dream Scenario stars Nicolas Cage. It is A24's latest and greatest, and I'm happy to tell you this is the first A24 movie that I've enjoyed this year. Nicolas Cage is great. He plays a college professor who starts appearing in many people's dreams, and he becomes this overnight celebrity. I think it has a lot to say about social media and the idea of celebrity, and I can't wait to dive into it with the review, but really happy to report A24 has a good one here. The best of the festival for me this year was absolutely Kitty Green's The Royal Hotel, starring Julia Garner, who you may know from Ozark, and Jessica Henwick. I thought it was just mesmerizing. It's about these two backpackers that run out of cash and have to pick up work at this local bar that's in like the most remote area of Australia and out the Australian outback. It has a lot of great moments of tension and just uncomfortability, and you just don't know where it's going to go next. That's what I loved about it. I thought it was definitely the best movie of the year so far for me. So those are the movies I'll be reviewing from TIFF this year. I'm really happy that you stuck around and decided to listen. I know this is a little bit of a longer video for me, but I wanted to kind of highlight the stuff I saw, and hope you find it interesting and want to check them out once they're released this year or next. So stay tuned for some reviews. Definitely subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you then.